Hey you! You're watching a clip from the DynamiteGizmo podcast. This is not the full episode, but if you want to see the full episode, make sure to click the link in the description. And remember, like, comment, subscribe. Do it now! Here's the clip. Now, as you probably heard, because I said it, and everyone else has said it, and it's already been announced, Fiziev is out. So who's in? Well, I initially thought it was going to be either Moicano, I thought maybe Hooker, I thought maybe BSD. Even Diego Lopez was floating around the mix, but it turns out Mateus Gamrot has taken the throne. And he's fired up. And he's very fired up. I've got a clip of him finding out the second he found out that he was getting the shot against Charles Oliveira. He was so stoked and happy. Let's watch it together.
He's
happy. He's happy, boy. Look, he spilt all over the place. God, that must feel good. Or he's like a gorilla. Whoa, that is a Cybertruck. I knew that was a Cybertruck. I was going to ask, and it is.
Whoa! Yeah, curva.
Is that it? I never actually watched this full clip. I never got to the Cybertruck part.
Yeah, oh.
Okay, I guess that's it, right? We don't need to see any more. It's not ideal switching between camera and monitor, having to use the buttons within OBS. Stream Deck, why are you doing this to me? Now, I even thought maybe they would consider Patty, but then I was like, no, they can't have Patty. They're saving Patty for something big. I never really believed it. It was a thought that came into my mind when I was looking through the rankings, and I was like, maybe they're not going to do Patty. But Gamrot was always in the back of my mind as the one who was most likely going to at least get a call. Though I was kind of hoping for either Moicano, Hooker, or BSD. And obviously Diego Lopez would be great if he went up a weight class. But he just fought. I don't know if I wanted to see him again. He's got the momentum. But I feel like BSD would have been good. Hooker would have been good. We haven't seen Hooker in I don't know how long. And Moicano made a lot of sense because it would have been in Brazil. And at first I wasn't sold on the Gamrot matchup. I keep getting text messages from Walmart. At first I wasn't sold on the Gamrot matchup. But then I remembered the history between Oliveira and Gamrot, and the fact that they share similar styles. Now, when I look at it and think about it, I think this pairing might actually be better, more exciting, more of an exciting fight than Fiziev would have been. And leading up to it, there was talk that Oliveira would be avoiding Gamrot. Okay? Oliveira himself was saying that he didn't feel like he needed or wanted this matchup, I should say. And where's that at? I've got all my tabs all backwards. Here it is. Oh, I got to switch manually. He said, I was focused on a guy who comes from a striking background with 2 weeks left until the fight. I have to change my whole game plan. It's very complicated. I don't want to be taken off the card, asked for this card. I've been training like crazy for it. Gamrot is a good matchup for me, in a sense, because he's a wrestler / grappler. But it's completely different from the style I've been training for the last month or two. It's about understanding the game planning. So it seemed as though, for a little bit there, that he was just ducking Gamrot. He didn't want Gamrot. Gamrot was in, but he wasn't. Now, where are we here? Gamrot Gamrot, if we go back in history, Gamrot's been calling for this fight for a while. Once after beating Arman Sarukian in 2022, again after Jalen Turner in 2023, whenever Charles had a fight canceled and the door cracked open, Gamrot would call him out. And Oliveira never really responded, so fans speculated, was Gamrot the stylistic threat that Charles never wanted? Whether that was even true or not, here we are. The UFC is unpredictable, my friend. Matchups we think we will never get happen suddenly. They materialize when someone else drops out. And this happens all the time. And when it comes to who's going to win this one, well, this one's a tough call. Oliveira still holds the record for the most submission wins in UFC history. But where's he at right now? He's 35. He's been in the UFC since 2010. Clearly in the last stages, the last legs of his career. And I'm not sure Fiziev would have beaten him. But I honestly feel like this could have been a shoo-in, or this could be a shoo-in, for Gamrot. I mean, Oliveira can still take people down, but even if he gets Gamrot there, it's not the same advantage as it would have been against Fiziev. Everyone talks about Gamrot's grappling, and he is legit, but most of his wins come by decision. When you actually look at his fight record, 48% of his wins are by decision, 32% are by KO, and only 20% are by submission. And outside the UFC, he's had just 2 grappling matches. One was a draw, and one was a loss. Career subs, 3 total. 2 of those were in the UFC. I should also mention that Dylan Danis was wanting this fight against Oliveira too at some point. Do I have that here? I don't know if I have that saved. Yes, I do. I do have it. Here it is. What does it say here? Who the funk cares about Mateus Gamrot? If Charles Oliveira wants another shot at a world championship, I'll put my belt on the line on short notice. But there's one stipulation. When I win, I want Islam next. This guy's crazy, dude. I'll give Dylan Danis props for calling people out. He calls out everybody, dude. Calls out everybody. But there's no fucking way any of this shit's gonna happen. Alright? Yeah, it's great that he has the fucking a belt in Misfits, but like, what is that? Who cares about that? That doesn't matter. That doesn't give you any leverage. You can't use that for anything. Who are we talking about here? Oh yeah, Mateus Gamrot. His record is 25-3-0, with all 3 losses coming inside the UFC. And they were to Dan Hooker, Beneil Dariush, and Guram Kutateladze. On his debut, mind you. And the Hooker Kutateladze losses were split decisions. They weren't total blowouts. They weren't one-sided. They were split decisions. So I don't know why I was misunderestimating Gamrot before this matchup came about. He's seriously skilled. And looking at him now, he deserves that top 5 lightweight spot. And a title shot might not be that far off. What do y'all think? When this matchup happens, when this fight happens, first off, are you more excited about this matchup than you were about the Fiziev matchup? And secondly, do you think Gamrot's going to absolutely cream Charlie Olives, as Dan Hooker likes to call him? And by the way, Dan Hooker has been calling out Charlie Olives for a little bit now too. And I only remember that because he calls him Charlie Olives. No one else calls him Charlie Olives except for Dan Hooker. So I would love to see a time in the future where Dan Hooker went up against Charlie Olives. or even BSD, or even Moicano. But we finally get that Gamrot matchup, which is so nice. I can't tell you how hungry I am right now. I've never been more hungry in all my life.